Ladies and gentlemen, every day is a golden chance to learn something new. The greatest minds have always said, never stop learning. Each morning as the sun peeks over the horizon, you should remember that it is a brand new day to grow. Books, conversations, failures, all of them can be your teachers if you are willing to listen. The world is a giant school, and everyone you meet can be your guide. Lifelong learning is the real source of progress. It is a truth that stands firm like an ancient tree, its roots deep in the soil of experience. Each leaf on this tree is a fresh idea, each branch a path that grows from the seed of curiosity. The real measure of a person is not just the degrees they hold or the titles they wear, but the way they keep feeding their mind with new wisdom every single day. There is no final destination in this journey. It stretches out to the horizon and beyond. Think of yourself as a gardener, nurturing the soil of your mind with questions and answers. Some seeds might not grow immediately. Some might take years. But each one holds a promise of new strength and beauty. When you make learning a part of your daily routine, you become like a river that never stops flowing. The water may twist and turn, but it always finds a way forward. In the same way, your mind finds new ways to grow. Even when the world around you seems stuck, the small steps you take to learn something new every day become a mighty current that will carry you to your dreams. You might not see the change overnight, but just like a river carves its path through rock, your learning will shape the life you build. The magic of lifelong learning is that it never asks you to be perfect. It only asks you to be willing. Willing to ask questions. Willing to admit what you do not know. Willing to listen to a new voice, even if it challenges what you believe. It is in these moments of openness that the most powerful changes happen. Like a craftsman polishing a gem, each new idea you explore adds another sparkle to your mind. You begin to see connections where you never did before. A story from a friend, a fact from a book, a lesson from a mistake. All of them become the threads in the fabric of your understanding. To embrace lifelong learning, you must keep your mind fresh and alert, like the air after rain. Breathe in the world around you. Let curiosity be your guide. And do not be shy to ask questions. Each question is a door waiting to be opened. Behind that door lies a lesson, a new piece of the puzzle that makes up the story of your life. No matter how far you go or how old you become, there will always be another door to open. It is also important to remember that learning does not happen in a vacuum. It happens in the quiet moments of thought and in the loud noise of experience. A conversation with a stranger, a new recipe you try, a book you read in a dusty corner. These are the places where your mind stretches its wings. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for the perfect book or the perfect teacher. Begin where you are, use what you have. Start with the questions that keep you awake at night. As you move through life, let your curiosity burn like a lantern in the dark. It will light your way and show you paths you never saw before. Each lesson you learn is a stone in the foundation of your future. Build it with care and with pride. One day you will look back and see that all those little lessons have made you strong enough to weather any storm and gentle enough to keep growing. Knowledge is not limited to books. This truth is as old as time itself. The pages of a book can only hold so much. But the world around us is a library that never closes its doors. Each sunrise brings a new chapter to read, and each sunset whispers a lesson if you only listen. Books are wonderful companions, full of stories and facts, but they are not the only way to learn. When you open your eyes to the world, you will see that the real classroom is life itself. Every conversation you have, every mistake you make, every little detail in your surroundings can teach you something that no book can. When you watch a craftsman working with his tools, you see more than just skill. You see patience, discipline, and the quiet power of dedication. These are not things you will find written on paper, but they will shape you just as much as any book. The same is true for the farmer in his field, the teacher in her classroom, or the mother tending to her children. In their actions, there are lessons about courage, love, and the quiet strength that holds the world together. It is easy to think that learning stops when you leave school, but the real learning starts when you step into the world with open eyes and a willing heart. You will find that the smallest things can teach you the biggest lessons. The way the leaves sway in the wind can show you how to bend without breaking. The songs of birds can remind you to speak your truth, no matter how small your voice may seem. The world speaks in 1,000 languages. If you are willing to listen, sometimes people get so caught up in what they read that they forget to live. They forget that knowledge must be tested, stretched, and sometimes even broken to grow. A book can give you a map, but it is the journey that will show you what the map really means. You must walk the path yourself, feel the stones under your feet, and face the storms that come your way. This is the knowledge that lives in your bones, the kind that no page can hold. When you look beyond the written word, you see that wisdom can come from the most unexpected places. A child's laughter can teach you about joy. A friend's kindness can teach you about trust. Even in pain and loss, there is a lesson waiting to be learned. This is why you must never stop exploring. Do not let your mind become a dusty shelf filled with forgotten facts. Keep it alive, like a river that flows through everything it touches. The best part about this kind of learning is that it never gets old. You do not need to sit in a classroom or pass an exam to grow. All you need is the courage to look around and the patience to see what is really there. When you open your heart to the world, every moment becomes a chance to learn. Each person you meet, each place you visit, each story you hear can add a new color to the picture of your life. It does not matter how many books you have read, if you have not lived the lessons they contain. Real knowledge is not just words on a page. It is the echo of your actions and the footprint of your thought. It is in the way you listen, the way you speak, the way you hold yourself when no one is watching. When you learn from life itself, you carry that knowledge with you like a quiet flame, always burning, always ready to light the way ahead. Be humble and open to new ideas. This is a principle that has guided the greatest minds and the gentlest hearts. When you let humility be your path, you open yourself to the kind of learning that can change your life. Humility is not about thinking less of yourself. It is about understanding that there is always more to know, more to see, more to feel. It is about knowing that even if you have walked many miles, there are still mountains you have not climbed. It is about seeing that no matter how much you have learned, the world is still bigger than your thoughts, richer than your dreams, and deeper than your understanding. Humility allows you to see the value in every new idea, no matter where it comes from. It helps you listen with respect and speak with care. When you are humble, you do not need to be the loudest voice in the room, because you know that wisdom often comes from the quietest corners. You understand that there is strength in listening and power in admitting that you do not have all the answers. This kind of openness does not make you weak. It makes you strong because it keeps your mind and heart ready to grow. To be humble is to accept that you will not always be right, and that is perfectly fine. Every mistake you make, every wrong step you take, is a chance to learn something new. Humility helps you turn those mistakes into stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. It lets you see that there is a lesson in every setback and a path forward in every challenge. When you carry humility in your heart, you see that every person you meet has something to teach you, even if they do not realize it themselves. Being open to new ideas is the natural partner of humility. It means being willing to see the world with fresh eyes, even when you think you already know what you will find. It means being curious and courageous enough to explore the unknown, to challenge what you believe, and to let new thoughts shape the way you see things. New ideas can be like seeds, small, fragile, and easy to overlook. But when you are open to them, they can grow into something strong and beautiful, adding color and depth to your understanding of the world. Sometimes new ideas will challenge what you hold dear. They will make you question the way you have always done things. This can be uncomfortable, even frightening. But when you let yourself feel that discomfort, you also let yourself grow. You learn that your beliefs are not cages to keep you in, but doors to new worlds. Every new idea you welcome, every fresh perspective you explore, becomes a chance to become more than you were before. This is not always easy. There will be times when pride tries to close your mind, when the weight of old habits and familiar ways of thinking feels too heavy to lift. But humility is like a gentle hand that opens those doors again and again. It reminds you that you are a traveler, not a prisoner, and that the journey is never done. The beauty of humility is that it keeps you young in spirit, no matter how many years you have seen. It keeps your mind soft and open, ready to learn and ready to change. It gives you the courage to let go of what no longer serves you and the wisdom to hold on to what truly matters. When you are humble, you see that there is no shame in being a beginner, no weakness in admitting that you do not know it all. You see that life itself is a teacher and that every new idea is an invitation to learn, to grow, and to become something better than you were yesterday. Learn from everyone and everything around you. It is a simple idea, yet it carries the weight of the entire world. The truth is, no one person has all the answers. Each one of us is a puzzle piece, holding a small part of the bigger picture. When you learn from everyone around you, you begin to see how those pieces fit together. You see the strength in someone's patience, the wisdom in another's silence, the courage in a stranger's kindness. These are not lessons you find in books or in classrooms alone. These are the lessons that life itself teaches you. If you are humble enough to notice, you must become like a sponge, always ready to soak in what the world offers. Do not be quick to judge or dismiss the people you meet. Each one has something to teach you, even if it is not what you expected. The carpenter who works with wood, the gardener who tends his plants, the student who struggles with a new idea, each of them carries a lesson you can take into your own life. There is wisdom in every craft and every effort, waiting to be shared. When you learn from everyone and everything, you break down the walls of pride and open your mind to new perspectives. You see that every person has a story, a journey that brought them to where they are. You might find yourself learning from the laughter of children who see the world with fresh eyes and wonder at every little thing. You might learn from an elder who has walked a long and winding path, whose every wrinkle is a line in the story of a life well lived. Even the smallest things can teach you great lessons if you pay attention. The way water finds its way around every obstacle can show you how to be gentle yet persistent. The way a tree stands tall through storms and sunshine can show you how to remain steady in the face of change. These lessons are all around you, hidden in the simple things, waiting for you to discover them. Sometimes you will find that the greatest lessons come from the most unlikely teachers. A moment of kindness from a stranger can remind you of the power of a gentle word. A mistake you make can teach you more than 100 successes ever could. When you open your mind to learning from everything around you, even your failures become guides, showing you the way forward. The people you meet on your journey are all teachers in their own way. Some will show you how to dream, while others will show you how to stand up when you fall. Some will test your patience, while others will fill your heart with hope. Every encounter, every conversation, every shared moment is a chance to learn and grow. Do not let these moments slip by unnoticed. To truly learn from everyone and everything, you must let go of the idea that you know it all. You must be willing to listen, even when you disagree. You must be ready to see the value in a perspective different from your own. This is how you grow, how you find the pieces of wisdom that life scatters all around you. It is not always easy. Sometimes you will want to close your mind and hold on to what you think you know. But when you keep your mind open, like a window that lets in the fresh air, you find that the world has so much more to offer. Each day becomes an adventure, each moment an opportunity. You find that wisdom is not something you seek in distant places. It is right here, in the people you meet, in the world you live in the quiet voice that tells you to keep looking, to keep listening, to keep learning from everyone and everything around you. Let your curiosity guide you like a compass. There is something magical about curiosity, something that lights up even the darkest corners of your mind. It is the spark that keeps you moving forward when you feel stuck, and the gentle push that makes you look a little closer at everything around you. When you let your curiosity lead the way, you find that the world becomes a place of endless wonder, filled with hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. You do not need to be an expert or a scholar to follow where it points. You only need an open heart and the courage to ask questions. Curiosity turns every ordinary moment into an adventure. When you wonder why the sky is blue or how the birds find their way home, you are already taking the first step on a journey of discovery. This journey does not require maps or guides. It only asks that you keep your mind open and your eyes wide. With each question you ask, you break down the walls of ignorance and build bridges to new understanding. You start to see that there is more to every story, more to every sight and sound, more to life than meets the eye. Curiosity is not just about asking questions. It is about listening for answers in the quiet places and the noisy ones alike. It is about following the path of wonder wherever it might lead. You might find yourself in a library filled with dusty books, or in a crowded market where voices blend together like music. You might find your answers in the laughter of a child, or in the silence of a mountain sunrise. The beauty of curiosity is that it never leads you astray. Even when it takes you down a winding road, it always shows you something worth seeing. When you let curiosity guide you, you learn to see the world with fresh eyes. You stop taking things for granted and start seeing the beauty in the details. A raindrop on a leaf, the rhythm of footsteps on a busy street, the way a simple smile can light up a room. These are the small wonders that curiosity brings to life. They remind you that the world is not just a place to live in, it is a place to explore. Curiosity also teaches you to be brave. It pushes you to step beyond what is familiar and to risk the comfort of certainty for the thrill of discovery. It tells you that there is no shame in not knowing something, only in refusing to learn. When you follow your curiosity, you find that the answers you seek often lie just beyond the horizon of what you already understand. You learn to chase those horizons, to trust that every question is a doorway and every wonder a chance to grow. Sometimes curiosity will take you places you never thought you would go. It will make you see the world from new angles and teach you to think in ways that challenge your old ideas. This can be unsettling at first, but it is in those moments of uncertainty that you find your greatest strength. You learn to let go of the need to always have the right answer and to embrace the joy of seeking instead. Letting your curiosity guide you is not about finding all the answers. It is about staying open to the search. It is about recognizing that every day brings a new chance to learn, to grow, and to see the world in a new light. When you let your curiosity be your compass, you find that the journey is just as beautiful as the destination. You see that there is always more to discover, always more to wonder at, always more to be. Make learning a part of your daily routine. It is not something you have to wait for, or something that only happens in a classroom. It is something you can weave into the smallest moments of your day, something that grows stronger every time you choose to look closer at the world around you. When you make learning a daily habit, it becomes as natural as breathing, as constant as the rising sun. You do not have to set aside hours to read a book or sit in a lecture hall. You can learn from the way the light falls across your desk, from the way a friend shares a story, from the way the wind sounds in the trees. Making learning part of your daily routine means being awake to the possibilities that each moment offers. It means taking the time to pause and wonder, to ask yourself what you might find if you look just a little deeper. It is about turning the ordinary into something extraordinary by seeing it with fresh eyes. You do not have to be an expert to learn something new each day. You only have to be willing to see what is there, to let each experience teach you something, no matter how small. The beauty of daily learning is that it adds up over time. Each small lesson builds on the ones that came before it. Like bricks in a wall. Slowly, without even realizing it, you become stronger, wiser, more aware. You find that your thoughts grow clearer, your ideas more confident. You find that you can connect things in new ways, that you can see patterns where before there were only scattered pieces. This is how growth happens, not in sudden leaps, but in the steady rhythm of small steps taken every day. When you make learning part of your daily routine, you also make it part of who you are. It becomes a habit, something you do without thinking twice. You begin to see every moment as a chance to learn, every conversation as a chance to grow. Even the mistakes you make become valuable, because you know that each one is just another lesson waiting to be learned. Daily learning is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about being willing to admit what you do not know and having the courage to go out and find it. It is about being patient with yourself when the answers do not come right away, and being proud of the small victories that come along the way. Some days you might learn something big and exciting, something that changes the way you see everything. Other days you might only learn something small, something that seems hardly worth mentioning. But even those small lessons have a way of adding up, of filling in the gaps and making your understanding of the world just a little bit deeper. There is a quiet satisfaction in learning something new every day. It gives you a sense of purpose, a reason to keep moving forward even when things get tough. It reminds you that no matter how much you think you know, there is always more to discover. It keeps your mind sharp and your spirit curious, ready to take on whatever comes your way. You do not need special tools or fancy degrees to make learning part of your daily life. You only need a willingness to keep your eyes open and your heart ready. You can learn from a book, from a friend, from a stranger on the street. You can learn from your own thoughts and from the way the world changes around you. Each lesson, no matter how small, is a step on the path to becoming the person you want to be. The world is always waiting to teach you something new. All you have to do is take the time to listen, to see, to let each day bring you a little closer to the person you are meant to become. When you make learning a part of your daily routine, you turn each day into an adventure, each moment into an opportunity, and each lesson into a building block for a stronger, wiser. Never stop asking questions. It is the simplest thing in the world, but it can open doors that you never even knew were there. Questions are like keys. Each one you ask unlocks a new room, a new idea, a new way of seeing the world. The more you ask, the more you see how little you know and how much there is still waiting to be discovered. This is what keeps your mind alive and your spirit young. It is what turns every day into an adventure, every conversation into a chance to learn something new. Asking questions is not just about getting answers. It is about showing that you care enough to wonder. When you ask questions, you show that you are paying attention, that you are curious about the world and the people in it. You show that you are not satisfied with the surface of things, that you want to dig deeper, to find out what lies beneath. This kind of curiosity is a gift, and it is something that will serve you well in everything you do. Questions have a way of breaking down walls. They open up conversations and help you see the world through someone else's eyes. They challenge you to think in new ways, to consider ideas you might never have thought of before. Even when you do not get the answers you are hoping for, the act of asking can still change you. It can make you more thoughtful, more open, more willing to see things from a different perspective. There is no shame in asking questions, no matter how small or simple they might seem. Sometimes it is the smallest questions that lead to the biggest discovery. A child asking why the sky is blue, a scientist asking what lies beyond the stars, a friend asking how you really feel. These are the questions that shape the way we see the world and each other. They remind us that learning is not something we do just once or in a single place. It is something we do all our lives, as long as we keep asking. It can be hard to keep asking questions, especially when you feel like you should already know the answers. Pride can make you hold back, can make you pretend that you understand when you really do not. But true learning begins when you let go of that pride and admit that you have more to learn. When you ask questions, you open the door to growth. You give yourself permission to be a beginner again, to explore new ideas without fear or shame. Asking questions is also an act of courage. It means stepping into the unknown, not knowing what you will find. It means risking the comfort of what you think you know for the excitement of what you might discover. But it is in that risk that the real magic happens. It is in that moment of uncertainty that you find the space to grow. Questions can also be a bridge between people. They show that you are willing to listen, to learn from someone else's story. They can turn a stranger into a teacher and a conversation into a lesson. They remind you that wisdom does not come from speaking alone, but from listening with your whole heart. The world is full of things you do not know yet. There are stories you have not heard, ideas you have not explored, truths you have not even imagined. Each question you ask is a promise to keep growing, to keep reaching for those hidden pieces of the puzzle. It does not matter how many questions you have already asked or how many answers you have found. There will always be another question waiting to be asked, another mystery waiting to be uncovered, another wonder waiting to be seen. The only thing that can stop you is forgetting to turn failures into powerful lessons. This is not just a saying, it is a way of life that can change everything you thought you knew about success and growth. When you face a failure, It is easy to let it weigh you down like a heavy stone, pulling you into doubt and fear. But what if you looked at it as a teacher instead? Failure is a strict teacher, yes, but it is also an honest one. It shows you where your weaknesses are, what your blind spots might be, and what you need to do to become stronger. If you let it, failure can be the start of something even greater than what you are aiming for in the first. Think of failure as a mirror. It reflects back what you could not see while you were busy reaching for your goals. It tells you the truth about where you stand and what you still have to learn. It does not sugarcoat or flatter. It simply shows you the raw facts. And there is beauty in that honesty, because it is the first step towards real growth. When you accept failure as part of your journey, you take away its power to hold you back. Instead of fearing it, you start to see it as an ally. It is not easy to stand in front of that mirror. Your pride might try to turn away. Your heart might ache at the thought of not measuring up. But if you can face it head on, you will find that failure does not mean the end. It means you have learned something you did not know before. It means you have a new chance to build yourself up again, stronger and wiser than before. Each failure carries a seed of opportunity. Inside every disappointment is a lesson waiting to be discovered. Maybe you learned that your plan was not as strong as you thought. Maybe you learned that you need more patience, or that you have to look at things from a new angle. Whatever the lesson is, it is a gift that can guide you forward. Do not waste it by turning away or pretending it did not happen. Take that lesson in your hands, hold it close, and let it show you the way. Sometimes the lessons of failure are quiet, like a whisper in the back of your mind. Other times they are loud and impossible to ignore. No matter how they come, they are there to help you. When you learn to listen to them, you find that failure can be a powerful fuel for growth. It can make you sharper, tougher, and more creative. It can teach you to look for the silver lining in every cloud and to keep moving forward, even when the path is not clear. Failure also teaches you about resilience. It shows you that you can fall and still rise again. It proves to you that you are not defined by your mistakes, but by how you respond to them. Each time you stand up after a setback, you build a little more strength, a little more courage, a little more faith in yourself. This is the quiet power that grows in you each time you turn a failure into a lesson. The beauty of this approach is that it keeps you moving forward. It stops you from getting stuck in the past or frozen by fear. It reminds you that life is a journey, and no journey is ever smooth from start to finish. There will be bumps and detours, but each one can help you find a better way if you are willing to learn. When you see failure as a teacher, you turn every misstep into a stepping stone, every closed door into a new opening, every defeat into a chance to start again with clearer eyes and a stronger heart.